Okay, next agenda. Approval of claims in the amount of 93 grand.
Before that, I had added, just chalking up the town, I wanted permission to hold that event on August 17th from 9 to 12.
Chalking up the town.
Yeah, last year we started up chalking up the town where kids came into town and we gave them a piece of sidewalk and they drew on it, and also brought people in to shop in our businesses. So we actually, what?
No.
Oh, okay. So
Are you asking it from the business association?
I'm asking just for permission to hold that event on August 17th.
I make the motion
You mean?
to let her
I
have
am.
that event for
I am.
Chalk Up the Town.
Chalk up the town. It comes off easy.
That's our vandalism.
Now, approval of claims, $93,480.22.
Excuse me, are you done with the citizen input thing? 'Cause I had something to add.
Okay, I haven't got that for you. I'm trying to get through my agenda.
Yeah.
That has to be before the claims.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nice try.
Troublemaker.
I'm gonna approach this from a different direction.
Okay.
As we all know, we had a tremendous amount of water in our town on the 25th of the month. And the difference in the way that I'm going to approach this is actually dramatic. Because I'm not coming to the town to tell the town they owe me nothing. What I'm coming to the town to talk about is what we could do to prevent it in the future. Okay? This kind of stuff has been going on long before I moved over. Okay? So I haven't got sour grapes. I didn't know I bought a house that floods. I didn't know all of this when I moved to this town, but I still like this town. And I plan on staying here for a period of time. So, what I did is my property was completely consumed. The culvert or the ditch that handles the, you call it storm water or drain water, surface water, was completely overwhelmed by the amount of rain that we've received. But it's not the first time this has happened. It's happened 3 times in the last 8 years, and it happened another time in 1978. So I've done my homework. I contacted FEMA. I went federal, then I went state, then I went local. And I got different responses from each level of government that I spoke with. Oddly enough, FEMA, which actually gave some money to the town of Odin, I think 8 years ago when there was a really bad flood in Elnora. FEMA, if you all don't understand, is the company or the government that pays flood insurance. They are flood insurance. We can't get flood insurance in Odin. The only way you can get flood insurance in Odin is going through a private company, which is an acronym of SWID, and the flood insurance rates are pretty much about the same as your mortgage payment. Now the reason we can't get flood insurance in Odin, and this board's exempt, is sometime in between 1978 and 2004, a town board of Odin voted unanimously to not participate with FEMA. FEMA was making recommendations in ways to handle the stormwater and the surface water drainage in this town. I was cautioned, federal government, to be careful with this because it may have been because there was funding that was going to be expensive. So the town couldn't afford it. So they voted unanimously to say no thank you. What I did find out is by further asking questions, I found out that to become in compliance with FEMA, to do these projects, if you are trying to work towards becoming in compliance, there are federal funds and grants that are available to you. But you have to vote unanimously to partner with somebody that's trying to help you. You can't snub it. You got to work it. So, first suggestion is, I would suggest that somebody, other than a private citizen, contacts FEMA. Find out, what's this guy talking about? You know, the guy from Tennessee, what everybody calls me. But find out what that guy from Tennessee is talking about. Because if we go in a direction to try to get in compliance with FEMA, maybe we can offer some relief to the people of this town that are getting flooded. Sir, I take my hat off to you. I didn't have any real property damage or loss because I was lucky. You did. The business next door to my house is completely flooded out. They had to completely strip all of the insulation, sheetrock, and everything out of that place because it's a daycare. Now, second, there have been modifications to that ditch. Now, this came local. The modifications that were made to that ditch that runs on Royal's property all the way back to John Cybers. There was a modification made on that ditch where there was a culvert put in that. Now, my understanding from Mr. Goss over in Washington is when the recommendations were made to put this culvert in, that it had to be a minimum of 5 feet in diameter. If we put 5 foot in diameter in, then John Royal was going to have to put 5 foot diameter in going under his gravel road. Then the county had agreed that they would put 5 foot diameter and everything else all the way out, flowing all the way out to the river. That was an agreement. That didn't take place because the culvert that is in there is undersized, so the county said, it's yours, you own it. It's not my responsibility. So I'm the landowner, I own that responsibility now. John Royal, which this culvert is basically on his property. On his property, it only affects about 20 foot of earth on my property before it's free. So at this point, what Goss is saying is because of the flow of the water and the turning of that ditch, it's all funneling right up to the mouth of that thing, and although it's a big pipe, it wasn't grossly underestimated. It's bottlenecking right there, and it's actually causing a reverse suction, which is blowing it back up. It's going straight to the daycare. Those houses before me get it a long time before me. Any rain, they get flooded. But my situation is unique because when it comes out, it collects in a corner before it goes under Royal's driveway. Like I said, my insurance, I've got sump pumps in my basement. My house stayed dry. I've got backups. But the fact of the matter is I've got a garage within 7 foot of that ditch. I've got another one within 4 foot of that ditch. So any time that culvert gets overwhelmed, I'm going to get it. Now, what my suggestion is, just a suggestion, can we take that culvert up? Can we widen that ditch? What is my ditch tax? I don't understand. So, I think a good place to start is there's a group of engineers, it's called the Army Corps of Engineers. Their specialty is water movement and the flow of water. I don't know what a fee would be to have them come in and look, but when you stop and you start thinking about anybody that lives on the south side of town, on the wrong side of the tracks, so to speak, from the park in, they're affected by this. One way or the other, we're affected by this. That's a third of the population of this town. So if you've got a third of the population in this town affected by something that has occurred 3 times or 1 time, I think we owe it to the people of this town to look into it. What can we do? We had people on Spring Street, as far north, on the good side of the tracks, flood.